Oh, it reconnected. Oh, we're good. We're good. Hey, guys. Oh, man. I really need to sort out this stream issue. This is actually hilarious. But welcome to the stream. This is going to be a super short stream. I'm going to tell a few stories and then I'm going to dip out. And I have little monster Lord Byron in my lap here. He's been a little... I don't know. He's weird. He's a... I don't know. If he's not in my lap, he will run to the corner of the room and he will just... for no reason whatsoever. And it's cute. Yeah, but he doesn't stop doing it. And I'm like, oh, is there, like, does he need something? So I get up and I clean his litter box again. I refill his food, at the set time. I make sure he has plenty of water. Hell, he even drinks, like, water from, like, the water dispensers at, like, an office. I have one of those, which I get water from. I make sure his water comes from that. I mean, he is spoiled, okay? He wants for actually nothing. But for some reason, whenever he's, whenever he's really content, I guess he just likes to scream. So I have to keep an eye on him, otherwise he's just going to run to the corner of the room and look at me from across the room and just go, meow. He's a little monster, but I love him. Speaking of things I love, I want to tell a story about Helldivers. So one of these days, I decided, you know what, I'm going to spend every single waking, like, free moment just grinding out the last levels of Helldivers. So I only needed to do it for, it was like 34, 35 when I started. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to do a level 9. And if you don't know, level 9 is the hardest difficulty, and I was going to solo it. And I went with the scout build, which allows you to run really fast, but you're a bit squishy. Excuse me. And I was like, okay, so I spent about 20, 30 minutes or so running around and kind of getting all the mini objectives, but it was so frustrating because it was a terminid planet, so there was just bugs everywhere. And I used the smoke grenades to kind of hide myself and try to get the objectives, but it was just awful. So I actually had a friend of mine who got on my friends list, and I saw he jumped on Helldivers. So the moment I had a second to actually breathe, I sent him a Steam message and I was like, help me, please. So he did, and he was like, oh, hey, join this Discord server or whatever, and, we can keep playing. And I'm like, okay. And so I got hoodwinked into joining the server, which I'm pretty against. I don't really like servers. I mean, I'm fine with being a part of them. It's just that, like, whenever you're a part of a server, you have this, like, I feel like, personally, I get this obligation to kind of, like, I don't know, not just, like, sit there, I mean, unless it's, like, like a server for, like a game, right, or like a company. Like, I'm fine with lurking, but, like, if it's a personal server, I tend to, like, not really like being in it unless I'm active, because I feel like I'm kind of wasting space. I don't know, I have a weird dynamic with this. But anyway, I'm in this server and I'm talking to everyone, and at the same time that this is going on, we're still trying to finish off the level 9 Helldiver mission. And for some reason, a good amount of his friends from the server see that me and him are playing Helldiver, so they join in, right? And I'm like, oh, this is gonna be great. These are gonna be a bunch of experienced people that are gonna really help me out and really help me get through these missions and finish them. And well, that is true. It did happen, but they were all like level 11s. And they came in the chat, they're like, hey, I'm going to tell you flat out, right? You're going to have to reinforce me, which is, respawn me a lot. And it's like, okay, that's fine. So we're playing and we're having fun. Everything's going good. But they changed some of the things in the game very quickly. They changed the chargers. They're now faster. They're now more agile. And believe it or not, they're even quiet. Like, you won't really hear them if they're right behind, unless like they're right behind you. And I don't know why they made that change. But also the fact is that those chargers, if there's like 2 or 3 of them, you're screwed. There's no way you're getting out of that. But we finished up the mission A-okay. It was decent. It was okay. But what ended up happening was I kind of went through a revolving door of people in the Discord, because it was just me and my friend originally, and then, he was like, oh, I gotta go to sleep, and I'm like, okay. And then obviously I was in there with the other people, so I can't just be like, oh, bye. So I was like, okay, I'll just keep playing. So for like 5-6 hours, we just kept playing. And then it got to a point where everyone went to sleep and I was the last one awake. And I was like, well, I should probably go away. Just kind of hang out and, dip. But yeah, I've always had a lot of weird things with servers. Because like I'm like I said, I'm fine with them. It's just that I don't really like having to forcefully interact with like new people without being prepared. Now, obviously, I knew going into the server that there was a pretty good chance that people were going to join and hang out and talk, and it's like, that's cool. That's whatever. That's fine. But at the exact same time, there's the little thing in the back of the head where you're like, I don't know these people. So it's like, what can I say? What can I say? So I mean, I didn't do anything stupid. Obviously, it's just like, that anxiety of like trying to just be a person and not like stand out, but not like be too far in the back. I don't know, find like the just right, the Goldilocks zone of social interaction. And I think I did that, but we'll see. But another thing I wanted to talk about was I was looking, I actually almost missed stream time because I was looking at a video by a Raztavi VTuber who compiled a list, or not him, but he's covering an article of like every single Niji Sanji graduation. And in a previous stream, I said that based upon purely on the stock price of any color, Solen Tatsuki's like termination was technically like negligible. And that was looking at it from the stock perspective, right? But the thing I didn't really clarify with that is that it's a very, like, that sentence by itself is very inflammatory if you don't know what it means. And the reason I said it was because, like, a stock's price has no bearing whatsoever on the actual value of the company. Because, like I was saying, I think it was during the stock stream that I was doing, where, like, a stock's price literally goes up and down based upon how you feel. So it's very, like, it's inherently volatile. So if you're trying to, like, hold, oh, yeah, you're screwed. If you're trying to make a quick buck, oh, yeah, for sure. Let me see here. Any color stock. Yeah, so it looks like a lot of people are kind of in the same boat as me here in terms of like analyzing, or rather the financial analysts. They're like, hey, yeah, the company's down 14% over the 3 months, but it's easy to disregard it. And it's like, not really. Because the problem is that, like, even though according to the stock price, it's technically negligible from the financial perspective, the problem is that it's destroyed every single talent in EN. Now, I believe it's been completely, like, I believe JP has been untouched, but that's kind of one of the other issues with it too, right? Niji Sanji EN is not the breadwinner for the company. Niji Sanji EN is an exploratory effort to gain more market share. That's all Niji Sanji EN is for Yuki, for Tazumi. And unfortunately, for better or for worse, that means that the Niji Sanji ENs are all expendable. I mean, the graduation list that I was looking at, I mean, this thing is just extensive. Is this Creative Commons? Okay, cool. Yeah, so, yeah, he's basically, Salvi VTuber is saying something to the effect of, like, look at this list that someone compiled, this is insane. And then, oh my god. Yeah, it's just absolute sweatshop, to be honest. But that's also another really good lesson in finance, right? Where even if the stock price is still consistent, like, the entire company is burning. Like, I think after 3 weeks, it took 3 weeks for all the sub counts to finally equal out and for people to stop losing. And the person that ended up gaining subs back was, I think it was Vanta Crowbringer? I think so. Yeah. But, yeah, I just thought that was really interesting to bring up because any color has this, like, revolving door of talents of, you know, they really don't give a single care about any of their talents. But, I mean, it's kind of weird, too, because you would think, like, they would give special preference to, like, Pomu or even Selene, but it looks like they haven't. And one of the things that I did want to bring up was Niji Sanji, I believe it's a deleted tweet, but they did bring up the fact that when they basically put Alira, Vox, and Ike in the firing squad and let everyone shoot them, apparently they didn't break the legal privilege. What they ended up doing was they were enumerated in it, so there was a duty to disclose that, it looks like, and allow everyone involved to like see what's going on, because they're technically quote unquote parties to the lawsuit. But yeah, they did a horrible PR job. And then there was a professor that even went on to the effect of saying, like, people should get fired for this. Like, this is bad. But that's Niji Sanji. And it kind of sucks, too, because I really enjoyed... I really only watched Hololive for the most part because they were, quote-unquote, safe, and they were also, like, consistent. Right, like, if you watch one stream of Hololive talent, you know what you're getting. Right, you don't need to really be crazy. Now, I'm not saying that they all can be boiled down to a single stream. I'm just saying that, like, you kind of know what to expect. And everything else that comes out from that that's, like, unexpected is, like, beautiful, and it's great. Niji Sanji, though, well, unfortunately, they're a lot less strict with their talents, which is really good from a creativity perspective, but they don't have a good reign on their talents. And Niji Sanji's problem is that they don't have saddles that they can use to ride their talents and keep them within reign, keep them within the box. And the reins that they have them on is for other things that are completely irrelevant and unimportant. It's like, why would you do that to your talent? Why would you completely destroy them? Oh, hey, Ren, how are you doing? Welcome to the short stream for Sigma males. I was just sitting here and kind of talking about Niji Sanji and kind of thinking about like the stock price and how, like, despite the fact that the stock price hasn't moved that much, it's just like a monumental destruction of the company. Because I was also bringing up the fact that there's a few, like, I don't know if you're aware of it, there's like, yeah, exactly, stonks. There's a drama VTuber, well, I guess you could say drama VTuber, but really more so, I guess you could say like quasi-journalist called Salvi VTuber that did a video, I believe, yeah, today, who there's a Reddit thread that compiled like every single graduation from like, I think it was, let me look at the thing here. Oh my god. Yeah, from like last year. And it is very long. It is just like kind of horrific to look at because you see like, you know, like I remember like being there for those graduations and watching those streams and I'm like, yeah, they're not that bad. There's a good amount of them, but it's not terrible. And then I looked at this list and I'm like, oh my god, there's like one every 20-something days. It's like, whoa. Yeah, that's pretty smart. I mean, one of the things that I've been told, and one of the things that I believe very fervently, is that the stock market is a great place to lose your money professionally. If you want to do it, and you want to be cool, you can put horrible investments into the stock market and see your money disappear. Okay. And it's the socially acceptable way to gamble your life away. So if you go to Vegas and you try to do that, oh, no, you're doing something wrong. That's crazy. Oh, well, I lost $100,000 on a bad, stock thing. Oh, yeah, it's okay. You'll bounce back. It's like, interesting double standard there. But, yeah, Niji Sanji, man, I really have been thinking about it lately because, yeah, I totally bounced back. And that's the scary part, too, right, with Niji Sanji is that, like, whenever there's like a really bad drama with the company or like anything really, to be honest with you, you think that, oh, well, maybe they can bounce back, right? Like really popular like YouTubers like outside of the VTubing community, like Call Me Carson, right? He had that massive drama. He disappeared for like a year or two. And now he's like doing pretty good. I don't know if he's like anywhere. I mean, he's not ever going to be like the thing again, but he's got a career. But I'm looking at it from the perspective of Niji Sanji, and what sucks is that the English branch of Niji Sanji, like if you take the time to look at their financials, like Niji Sanji JP is the only thing that brings in all the money. Yeah, I forgot about that, man. Yeah, he got stiffed. Now, obviously, I'm not excusing what he did and all the other things that were alleged against him, right? I'm not trying to say or defend him. I'm just saying from an objective perspective, looking at the situation, he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. He was at his lowest, and then he made a lot of really stupid mistakes that all just came together, right? Because I'm just thinking about it from the perspective of, like, you know what? If he didn't do that, right? If he just kept his head on his shoulder instead of somewhere else, you know, he could have been friends with Schlatt, you know, all these like massive people on Twitch and like all these other communities, and now he's kind of stuck to his little community, which is fine. You know, that's perfectly okay. But to be honest with you, what really sucks about it is that, like, I could not imagine that, right? Like, being in that position, having all that influence, having all that, you know, that following, and then just throwing it away for just stupid reason. I don't know. I don't understand it, right? I've never been in a position where I've been tested that much, which thank God, but it's just like, you just don't do certain stuff, you know? And I don't know how familiar you are with the Carson situation. I can fill you in if you want, but yeah, I'm just thinking about it. But, you know, even he was able to bounce back from this. But with Nichi En, right, like, they don't even make up 20% of the yearly income of the company. Like, it's an insane figure, right? You're like, wait, what? Not even 20% of the company's value comes from En? So, like, just looking at, so that stock jump, that stock dip where it loses like $1,000 in value, that is purely from just the EN side. Like, you would think, like, oh, it would be way more catastrophic. Like, if you look at the stock from, like, recently, yeah, like, oh my god, it's like a massive downshift. But if you look at it from, like, a long period of time, you're like, this isn't that bad. But I think what sucks is that Nichi Sanji will forever be a black company. You know, Kuro Sanji exists now. And I'm really worried about the next, like, level of graduations. Like, who is it going to be? Right? Because we finally got the confirmation that there are cliques in the company. Yeah, I never understand why people will do things, and it's like you figure out what's going through your head. Yeah, I think that's like the most important thing that you're pointing out there. Like, oh, I won't get caught. And it's like, look, if you have gotten past the thought process of, oh, should I do this or should I not do this? And you've jumped to, oh, how can I get away with this? That should be a pretty big red flag. And I mean, I want to give him an out because he was very, like, extremely depressed and he had a lot of mental issues, and he didn't go into it, but, like, he was, you know, at a low point. But I don't think that even with that, you should be given an excuse, right? You know, it's our responsibility to handle what we can and figure out what we can. Now, obviously, like, if it's something he can't control, that's a different story. But he made it pretty clear that, like, this was a bad decision. And he made a mistake and he owned up to it. Which, obviously, you know, he may have just been doing that for PR purposes, but I don't know. Just weird. But, let's see here. Yeah, I'm just refreshing my YouTube page here, and it's really nice seeing, like, False ID and Kyo and stuff, because they do really good journalism. Because I don't have time to, you know, browse Nichi Sanji or go and find these articles and stuff. So it's really nice to kind of get the boiled down stuff. Well, not boiled down, but, like, get the, hey, this is what's going on. Here's the source for it. Here you go. In fact, I think it was False ID. He even streams on Twitch. And he does, like, the things, like, live. So you can get, like, a behind-the-scene view. Let's see here. It's like the Luke Woodham case. He was a depressed person, but he could have had help. I don't know if you know. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that case. Let me look it up. Luke Woodham. Oh yeah, I don't. Yeah, I never even heard of this before. Yeah, but I mean, he's a really good example then of, like, very common cases, right? You have a guy who is normally, and or at least the case thing is, like, normally very mentally disabled in a sense, like, not like a genuine disability, but, like, very psychologically depressed or whatever that, like, is called. I'm not a pro, I don't know. But then they get, like, a stimulus, like they get bullied or, you know, I don't know, something really bad happens to them, and then that's like the trigger for it, and then they do like horrible things, and the younger they are, you know, they seem to make like more drastic things, right? And then, you know, instead of like just harming themselves, they decide to also include other people, which, yeah, it just sucks. Then you had multiple people around him that got intrigued into like yeah, I mean, Satanism is an interesting thing, right? Because you think, you know, the immediate thought of Satanism is like, oh, they worship Satan. When in reality, like, I remember looking at, like, what were the tenets of Satanism? It was like a reductionistic version. Hold on, what's the Satanic Temple. Yeah, they have this thing where, like, they have a few tenets that are basically like, here, let me read the thing. It's been a while, but I remember when I was looking at it, I was like, oh, they just want to make reason their God as opposed to having God as God. Which is like, okay, you know, if that floats your boat. You know, everyone has their thing. As long as you're, you know, consistent, I guess. You know, last thing you want to do is contradict yourself, because then you're, you know, literally committing intellectual suicide. Let's see here. Where is it? They had like, hold on. Satanism tenets. Yeah, sorry, the 7 fundamental tenets of Satanism. Yeah, they have this like thing where, yeah, they focus on, you know, putting logic on a pedestal with compassion and empathy towards reason, for justice, freedoms. Yeah, so it's like a not the modern word of liberal, but like the old word where it's focusing on liberty and autonomy as opposed to, you know, putting, you know, a system in charge that, well, I'm not a Satanist, so I don't know, but yeah. I just feel bad for the people who, you know, are in these positions and don't do horrible things, right? Like, take, like, Luke Woodham, right? Like, what if he didn't do all that bad stuff? Because it looks like he did some things with the school according to my Google search. Like, imagine if, like, he didn't do that. Like, how many other people like him are suffering? Like, this one thing. A curse. Whoa. Oh, wow. Yeah, see, the problem with stuff like that for me is that when you start introducing, like, supernatural stuff into it, it's normally because we're missing vital information, right? I mean, now, do I think that there is supernatural stuff that happens from time to time? Yeah, I've seen it. It scares the hell out of me. Like, sometimes I'll be thinking about something and it'll happen, I'll be like, okay, what do you know, what is the universe trying to tell me? Or who's trying to tell me what's going on here? But at the exact same time, it's like, imagine being Luke in that situation and that happens. That would be terrifying. And if like it was something that he wanted, if that was something that he wanted to bring to fruition, just like think about the ego trip that gave him. And then imagine like going from being like super severely depressed and bullied and just like basically felt to be like nothing, and then being given that much power. That's pretty insane. Especially when you consider the fact like the mood swing that it would bring from being that low all the time and then going up to that like that plateau of joy, even temporarily, is like a drug. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of weird though, because I remember being told that like the 2 colors you want to avoid at night is wearing all black and all white. All black makes sense because even with like beams on, you know, you kind of blend into the background. But with white, I never understood that unless like you're in like a really like big city. But even then, most of the cities like aren't pristine white. They have like, you know, dyes of hues and stuff. But yeah, like I very rarely see like, oh, person wearing all white hit. No, it's normally like person in very dark clothing gets hit, and it's like, you know, that's, you know, see with my eyes, I can't really ignore that. But yeah, I mean, but I from like a perspective of someone who like isn't skeptical or naturally analytical, seeing like, oh my god, like he said that this guy was gonna die and then he dies. You're just like, what? You're just like, whoa. Oh, hey, Ren, thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. Yeah, the goal up there is, the whole reason I have it up there is just because I want channel point gotcha. I want to, do polls and lose, channel points on stupid stuff, so I appreciate you helping me in getting there. I just want to do stupid stuff with, imaginary points. But, yeah, light on white. I mean, I know, well, here's the thing, right? Like, whenever you're driving at night, right, and you put your high beams on, like, a white piece of clothing, doesn't it, like, bounce off? And, like, it's really easy to see. Like, you see it bounce off, and you're like, whoa. It, like, keys you in that something's there. So at least you, like, have your foot on the brake. I don't know. I mean, I obviously have my experience, but, like, that's not the standard, right? But, yeah, the good news is that, my Streamlabs or my Stream Elements is broke again. Because it's supposed to update to 2, but I don't know. It's a problem for another time. No clue. Well, I mean, that's a good thing, right? Like, I mean, walking alone at night, like, it isn't a naturally suspicious thing, but normally whenever people are walking alone at night, it's because they're, like, coming back from a bar or, like, I don't know, they're going for, like, that 2 a.m. relax walk or something around the neighborhood, like the park and stuff. But, yeah, I try to stay away from walking at night, not from a safety perspective, just, like, it's either really peaceful or you see something, and it's when you see something that it's always annoying, right? Like, maybe someone gets in a car accident or, you see another person, you're like, what are you doing out, Yeah, a nice breeze in the evening or a nice breeze, like, late in the night, especially during, like, hot summer months. Yeah, those are divine. Because it's the only time where it's, like, 70 degrees, right? And I'm a very hot-blooded person, so I love cold weather. And just hot-blooded from the perspective, like, if it's not, like, 60 degrees, it is just awful. Pennsylvania, yeah. Yeah, I've been to Virginia before, and the weather there is really nice. They have really nice, like, I was there during, what was it? I think it was like November. So it was right in the middle of, basically the start of winter. And I was there during summer. And Virginia and kind of that northeastern seaboard kind of seems to get, like, it's really, like, fall is wonderful, or autumn. Autumn is just wonderful. It's so nice. It's so beautiful. And then winter comes and it's like, it's going to be cold. It's going to snow. It's going to be bad. And then the summers are just like, I don't know how so far up in the United States that Virginia's summers feel the same like it does in Florida. And it's like, it's not as humid, but, I mean, it's still hot. But, yeah, I mean, walking at night, it's always nice. Yeah, dry heat is different from humid heat. Like, some people just die at the mention of humidity. And I'm used to humidity, so I'm fine with it. If it's 110 degrees with humidity, like, I can stay outside for a little bit. I'll be fine. But dry heat, oh, man, that just... you're in an oven. But, yeah, I've never been to California, but I know that the humidity out there is pretty rough. Unless, like, you're in the desert parts, right? But during the summer and stuff, and... well, I think in the summer, people have told me that it's, like, really, like 80 degrees, something like that, so it's pretty good. But, yeah. There's a lot of places that I want to visit in the United States. Not to, like, visit for the sake of visiting, but, like, seeing what is it like to be someone in California, right? Or what is it like to be someone in, I don't know, South Dakota or something. Just random places. But, yeah, the only places I've really been to in the United States has been, I've been to quite a few states, thankfully. Because I had some time to, like, drive around and, kind of see the United States in a little bit. I haven't seen it all, but I had some opportunity. Yeah, it is weird, though, because, like, depending on where you are, like, I hear that, and keep in mind, this is all hearsay, right? Like, I hear that Los Angeles is virtually the same weather as San Diego, but San Diego is nicer because it's closer to the ocean or something, and, like, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff going into it. But I definitely love it. I mean, I have to say though, if I ever were to like be forced to live in California, just because of the weather, I don't want to. It's just so hot, right? Like I don't like hot weather. I mean, I can handle it, right? It's not a horrific thing, but it's also not something that I want to like focus on and continue to suffer with. Well, I think for sure you're right, because humidity comes mainly from surrounding moisture, and San Francisco is right on the bay, if my memory is right. I think it is. So if you're right next to water, I mean, you're just going to be inundated with. I mean, it isn't just fresh water; it's salt water too. So not only do you have to deal with the like higher humidity, but if you got a car, congratulations, in 5 years you have rust. And it's like, okay, it's like, oh man, like imagine having, a really brand new car, and then like 10 years from now you look underneath it and you just see, brown rust, and it's like, oh god. And you can't really get away from it either. Like there aren't any coats or anything that you can just like put on to hide it. It's just one of those things that's really frustrating about like living near the ocean. You have this like constant threat of rust coming on. Even if it's stainless steel, it doesn't matter. It'll find a way to find the imperfections, and that is where the fault will be, and that is where the axe will fall off or something like that. Oh man, bit of snow. Yeah, that is actually like a really cool point though, right? Like if you live next to mountains, even when it's really like summery and it's really hot, you can literally see a mountain with ice caps, or I think ice peaks. I don't know what they're called, but just thinking about that is pretty cool. Because like I've never had that experience, but I imagine if you live in a place like that, right, and you see a mountain with ice caps, like I don't know, it would make me feel, or at least I think it would make me feel like a little bit better. Like it's not that bad. But if you're just surrounded by everyone sweating, everyone drinking out of their stuff, it's like, ah. Yeah, sometimes sucky. I think you're being kind, especially with mountainous regions, because I'm just thinking about it from the perspective of like, winter in the mountainous area is so different from just a regular place. Like Virginia, for example. I'm sorry, I'm going back to Virginia. It's the only experience I really have was snow for the most part. But, when it snows in Virginia, right, you don't really need snow tires unless it gets really bad. But like if you're in Appalachia, right, or in the Rockies, you've got some issues if it's snowing. Because you aren't just dealing with snow, right? It's much colder because you're higher up. Then you've got all the other factors that run into it. And it's like, if you get stuck, right, you're not just off, I-12 or whatever the highway is. You're stuck in the mountains, right? And it's like, you could, use your GPS and call in a fire rescue, but then you got to pay a $15,000 bill to get, helicoptered out. And it's like, I'd rather die. But oh my God. Speaking of rather die, I mean, just like the Nichi Sanji situation, I mean, I'm just a dude that's an outside observer, but I can't imagine how stressed out everyone inside the company must be trying to, like, move past this, right? Like, how do you move past the most horrific drama that has ever happened in the VTuber community since, like, well, I don't even know. I know that right before the Nichi Sanji situation, the Rushia debacle happened, and I don't know if you're aware of that, but Rushia was a ex-Hololive talent who, apparently, like, really focused on, like, the girlfriend experience, and she was selling, like, this merch that was, like, forever promise rings, right? Trying to, like, get that market. And then, like, a month after that, so this was, like, December 2023, so just a bit ago, right? It comes out that she's getting divorced, and she was married while she's selling this merch, and I'm like, man, get that back. But man, that it must suck to be one of her, I think they call them like fan debt or something. Like, imagine, like, I mean, I feel really bad for people who like fall in love with talents though, because like, life is rough, right? Life is difficult, and you find ways to cope. But getting an attachment like that, no matter how serious or how important it is, I mean, that is difficult. With the Rushia situation, basically, like I was saying, she was a Hololive talent who got fired because she was basically a menhera, which is a Japanese term for, like, basically borderline psychotic crazy woman, right? And she went to a few other companies and stuff, but essentially the drama with her was she literally had thousands of people watching, and she's a very popular, like, streamer in Japan. like very popular. And she really knows how to tap into the gachioi, which is like the people who fall in love with female streamers. Yeah, they are. But here's the thing, you know, it's our job in life to find the ones that aren't that crazy, or the ones we're willing to deal with. Right? But if there's any women that may see this stream, Rin and I are not saying that. This is a joke. Okay? But yeah, it's really crazy, because what she did was she literally was farming these guys who were just like emotionally unavailable, just kind of living in their own fantasy, and just like kind of tapping into that and abusing them. Just like the truth about the government. Yeah, the government doesn't exist. Yeah, the taxes. I don't know. That's just propaganda that they keep trying to tell me. I don't know why they keep sending me letters, but I don't live here. Okay. But man, yeah, the Rushia situation literally came out like a week or two before the Solen Tatsuki situation happened. Now you're getting a little bit edgy there, huh? No, I'm kidding. But yeah, it's just crazy stuff like that happens, and it makes you wonder, like, thank God I'm not in love with any streamer, right? Because they're like, you would think like, oh, that there's like 90% of people aren't in that situation. But as time goes on, I don't know if it's like because of my perspective or because of like the stuff I watch and the stuff that like I consume, like it feels like it's bigger. But if I'm honest with you, I mean, there are a lot of people who are just like genuinely in love with streamers, man. Right? Like I like even before VTubers like were a thing, like Pokimane, right, was like a pretty big like streamer that people were like, yeah, here, take my paycheck. And it's like, dude, have you seen the economy? Don't do that, you know? It's like, if you wanna throw $1 at someone, feel free. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I just don't really like enjoying her content. I don't find it interesting, right? Like, my maxim with my stream is be interesting, you know? I remember saying something to the effect of like, yeah, I could be really funny and entertaining, but that's one, really exhausting to do 24/7. And also, if all you're doing is laughing, your stomach is gonna hurt. So there's like a limit, like you don't want to do it too much, you don't want to do it too little. But I don't know. I remember when Pokimane was kind of a rising streamer, and people were like, oh yeah, she's great. And I remember watching her streams and I'm like, I don't get it. Like, what's going on? But then again, I don't really mean to disparage or slander her, but I think that if you're a very attractive or mostly attractive streamer and female, you can really harbor an audience without really needing to do much. Yeah, see, I was actually going to segue right into that, because my favorite female streamer is Sarah's Fauna. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Hololive or anything like that, but like she is in terms of like my like zenith of content creators. For male streamers, my favorite is Pay Money Wubby. I love Wubby so much. He is hilarious. He has my humor. He has my like everything, right? And he's such a joy to watch. And then Sarah's Fauna, she's from Hololive. She has like, okay, I'm gonna be real, right? She has a model that's very like, you know, if it's your type, it's your type, right? But her personality is what's going on. Brendan Herrera. Yeah, I need to watch more of his videos. I had a phase where I would watch it pretty much every single time it came out, and then I just like kind of dozed off and just stopped, you know, just watching. But I think I'm still subscribed to him. But isn't he running for office? I think he was saying something like that. Was that Brandon Herrera? Was that I don't remember. He is, yeah. I think I don't remember what state, but I think he like Oklahoma or something, or Kentucky. I don't remember. I haven't even looked at his policies, but I hope that whatever he decides to do, that he's consistent and he's moral and he's principled. And even if I disagree with his policies, if he's championing it in a legitimate way, for San Antonio. Oh, wow. Oh yeah, he does live in Texas. That's right. Yeah, I mean, I wish him success. I mean, even if he has completely polar opposite opinions and stuff from me, you know, as long as you're... My principle is that if you are against me, right, in terms of principle, like let's say I'm for X and they're for Y, as long as they are representing Y in a genuinely good way, and they're doing it because they believe that's the right one, instead of like an ulterior motive, like to embezzle money or something, I'm fine with that, right? That's important. You need to have strong opposing beliefs to check the beliefs you have, because otherwise it's just an echo chamber, and no one wants that. Speaking of echo chambers, though, like the Sarah's Fauna thing, right? Like, a lot of the female streamers have that, right? They have this, like, viewer community that just is just all love and all praise and no criticism. And it gets old. It's tiring. It's frustrating. It's annoying. And it's just, seeing that is, like, Pokimane is a perfect example of this, right? Even when she made those cookies that were like $40, $40 for like 5 or 6 cookies, and they were ass. People are like, oh yeah, support her, she's a young business creator. And it's like, dude, do you know how easy it is if you just have the money to make a crap product like that? It's basically selling widgets. That's how easy it is. Someone who's a gun lover, having someone like him, if I lived there, would be happy. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, as my voice breaks because I'm an idiot. Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with people that are willing to go into office not to just maintain the status quo. I mean, it's honestly necessary nowadays. I mean, you can't just go into politics hoping for a cushy career, because yeah, it'll be achievable if you can get there, but you know, I don't know. I just think the concept of office is service, not, you know, a stepping stone for making a lot of money. And I know that Brandon Herrera is definitely not someone who thinks of, you know, making money. Like, I know he's definitely focusing on championing, you know, change in his little, you know, bubble and hoping to expand it to others. But, I mean, the world is so crazy right now. I mean, what used to be normal a year or two ago is now no longer the case. We've got all this stuff. And it's frustrating, but, you know, that's why I'm a VTuber, right? I want to escape from that crap. You know, there's no point. You know, if I can't change it, why stress about it? You know, I mean, that's a bad thing to take, but it's also, you know, it's philosophical if you really sit down and look at the words. Guns and White Claw. Ew, he likes White Claw? No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I've never had White Claw, but I think people have, like, told me that it's basically like, wait, it's alcohol, right? White Claw? Let's see. Yeah, it's a hard seltzer. Okay, yeah. I normally prefer, like, I'm a lightweight, so I kind of can get away with anything, but I generally prefer tequila. And if I go for lighter stuff like wines and, you know, the girly drinks or whatever, I love those. They taste so good. My favorite alcohol is the one that I can't taste. Yeah, who was the other one? It was Demo Ranch that also did that. What has he been up to? There's a lot of channels that I don't watch. The only one, okay, I will say, the only one that I have been up to date with has been Hickok, okay? But that's just, you gotta be up to date with Hickok, okay? Hickok is the guy. I still can't believe Demolition Man, oh man. I have his face in my head, but I don't remember his name. He brought him to Hickok's firing range and had him shoot all these horrific, that Hickok did not want to fire, and it was like, this is good content. And yeah, I mean, it is kind of cool though, because like, if you're thinking about it from a perspective of like, what is the penetration of like X round? It's like, well, that's ballistic gel. Well, we don't want it to hit us, but what can we put in front of us? You know, what is good cover versus like what's concealment? Oh yeah, that's right. I did hear about that. Yeah, because Brandon is technically a legal dealer, right? So he can do, because I remember hearing that there was a buyback and people gave guns to the police department and they were planning on melting them down or destroying them. And then Brandon went in and basically bought them because he's a dealer, so he can do that. And people got really pissed off. Legal buyer, yeah, and people were getting really pissed off about it. It's like, I mean, if you run a buyback and you let a thing like, hey, someone else, a dealer, can buy these guns, why are you surprised that people are going to do it? And I bet you he got them. He probably got some really pristine firearms for dirt cheap, which is, yeah, if you can get anything expensive for dirt cheap, especially quality stuff, man, it's just a different kind of thrifting, you know? Finding the gems in the rough. But yeah, I know I'm kind of bringing it back to Nijisanji though, but like Gems in the Rough, like it really does suck for the talents that had nothing to do with the situation. He really didn't get much at all. Oh, that's so unfortunate. Yeah, that's kind of the catch-22 with buybacks or any purchases that are like happenstance, right? You don't know what you're getting. And even if you do know what you're getting, it's not a guarantee. But yeah, like Scarla, Yonaguni, Kyo Kaneko. I mean, Kyo got out, right? He graduated like right before everything went terrible. Am I in a sneeze or what's going on in my nose? Uh-oh. Okay, I think I'm fine. Don't worry. I'll mute before I sneeze. I don't think anyone wants to hear that. But yeah, I'm just like, it's kind of, I don't know. You know how like you sometimes cringe at people trying to get back to the status quo after something like horrific happened, and they like tweet and stuff, and they like do content and stuff, and it's like, an M1? Wow. An M1 Garand. Wow. You gotta be stupid to give that away for free. Because they don't make them anymore. They're antiques now. And the M1 Garand is a beautiful rifle. I've never shot one before, but I've had the either privilege or detriment of being next to one going off. Damn, 30. What? Yeah, hold on. Here we go. Oh, am I back? Let's see. Oh, this is horrible. He had to restart stream. Yeah. Oh, I'm back, but it's horrible. Oh, am I back? I think I am. I'm not sure. Maybe? Perhaps? I don't know. Oh, okay, we're good. I don't think I've disconnected again. They heard our joke. Yeah. Yeah, see, you gotta stay strong, right? In moments like these, when you have issues, you need to just roll with it, and you'll be fine. Now, here's the funny thing, right? I don't know if my audio is terrible or if it's skipping, so if it is, let me know. Actually, let me listen to myself. I don't want to force you to do my work. Oh, I'm back. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, like sometimes what'll happen is, like, let me give you the perspective from me, right? In the OBS screen, you have like a bunch of data, like dropped frames, you have your upload thing, you have, the time and all that. Okay, when OBS disconnected, right, I was getting 6,000 kilobits per second, okay? Now here's the thing, right? I have it limited to 4,500 so that it doesn't do that. So that it stays in a nice little consistent bubble that doesn't cause any issues and just lets it go. And then what'll happen is that it'll disconnect, it'll disappear for 2 minutes, and then it'll come back. Now, I have Xfinity, okay? I'll be real with you. I'll level with you. I'm not happy about that. But to be honest with you, all the ISPs out here suck. Xfinity sucks, but it's fine, Well, the whole thing about that situation is like, where do you want to put your money, right? In this case, it's not about money. It's about where do you want to put your morals, right? If you fervently believe in the situation going on over the seas, right? We both know what we're talking about here. If you are on one side or the other, you're going to have to really think about how you're going to either support that side or how you're going to boycott the other, right? Or something like that. In my opinion, I'm a very laissez-faire person. I don't understand what's going on over there. I mean, I have a history lesson. I know about the creation of Israel. I know about all these places. Oh, I just said the word, damn it. Well, okay. If I get banned, okay? You have to talk to me, okay? While I wait for me to get unsuspended. But for me, it's really important to, if you have a fervent belief in something, If you are very serious about a position and you are willing to boycott, good, you should do that, right? If that's what you believe you need to do, go and do it. Even if people tell you you're stupid, even if people tell you you're wrong, that doesn't matter. If you have a principle and you believe it to be true, and even if other people call you an idiot, you should do it. Now, when it comes to other people, the best you can get is informing them, right? Saying like, hey, you know, we're boycotting McDonald's because they support X, right? You can tell someone that, but you can't force them to believe you, right? You can educate them, right? And I'm not just talking about purely the situation going on over there. I'm saying with everything, right? But I think it's very important that if that's what you believe you need to do, you have to, one, walk the walk as well as talk the talk, but also you have to do it in a way that is, how do I say this? I know what I want to say, but I want to say it really well because I don't want it taken out of context. Whatever you believe in, whether it's a current event or a previous event, you have to make sure that you're willing to die on that hill. Yeah, so like your counter argument there is like, if you believe in, you know, boycotting McDonald's, right? What is your actual impact by doing so? Now, if there is a massive boycott, like you saw with like Anheuser-Busch, right? You know, it will eat and kill a company. But the problem is that, in my opinion, I think that the people who are just like boycotting McDonald's, right? There are better things that you can do with your time to aid your cause than telling other people or personally refusing to purchase goods from them. There are so many other things you can be doing. And because ultimately, like, it's not just about the process, right? The process of supporting X and saying, you know, Y is bad. It's also making conservative or even broad steps to getting towards your goal. Yeah, so like so we were just talking about the company, right? So we're talking about a legal entity that is a conglomerate of multiple cultures, multiple nations, multiple people. But now if we're talking about like, okay, the people themselves, how is that McDonald's fault, right? Yes, they are agents of the company. Okay, we can get super legal if we want to. But the point is, okay, these people can make their own choices, right? And I don't know explicitly what like topic you're like specific thing you're talking about, but like I'm imagining a worst case, right? If someone in McDonald's, right, in that country decides to do a heinous act against another person for a reason that is most foul, how is that McDonald's fault, right? Like, we don't say, like, for a person that decides to take a firearm to a very specific place, right, and do heinous things with that. Like, oh yeah, he worked for an IT company. It's the IT's company. No, we blame the person, right? Or we blame the illness, or we blame X, Y, and Z, but we never blame the IT company. Why? Because the causal chain of events ended when that person decided to make that decision. Especially when you take into account, like, where is the line drawn of company responsibility for a person's action, right? Because a person is always responsible for their actions, right? That's just a maxim that everyone kind of, like, it's internalized. We just do it. But, like, how did McDonald's, you know, aid or encourage? That's like, you know, I mean, I did see something recently where there was a care package that was dropped, and then there was a lot of people going to it because they were, you know, pretty hungry. They wanted the care, and then, you know, a particular group of people decided that it would be a good idea to capitalize on that opportunity. Yeah, okay, yeah, so that's not even like a heinous thing, right? Like, regardless of whether you look at it from like a Christian principle or whether you look at it from an Islamic principle or anything, right? Doesn't matter, right? Like, is it an objective bad thing to give free food to soldiers, right? Now, here's where it gets really difficult, right? You don't know who these soldiers are. You don't know what they did the day before or the one before that. They could have done horrible things. But what's going on here is you're forcing that one person to make a decision to be kind, to be a decent, good person. And then you're also forcing them to be omnipotent. How can they know? When you give free food to people, or you give free food to anyone, or free stuff to anyone, Do you sit there and write a dossier of everything they've done their entire life so that you don't get canceled? No, you just give them the thing. Why? Because it's a decent thing to do. But yeah, if you're looking at it from that perspective, it's like, yeah, then give it to the people that aren't soldiers, or give it to the other soldiers. You know, it's like, it's not that hard. But the problem is it requires analytical thought. It requires you to sit down and think, okay, how can my actions actually have an impact? That's the important question. How can I do this, and how can I do that to reach my goal? Because in my opinion, a lot of these people that boycott things for no reason, they don't have a goal. It's just the thing, and they're doing it, right? Like the Stanley Cup thing, right? Like, people were buying that in droves, and it's like, dude. There was an article that came out. I don't know if it's true, and I don't want to slander the company, okay? But I remember seeing, and I can't verify this, so I want to make sure that you understand that I don't know this for sure, but there was an article saying they detected lead in Stanley Cups. And then Thermoflask, I believe, came out and said, yeah, none, ever. It's like, oh man, guys, how could you do this? And it's just like, oh my god. But yeah, when I think about current events, right, and controversial issues, the thing that always irritates me the most is that it's so difficult to think about it from an objective standpoint. And I'm not saying divorcing emotion from the situation, you know, and just purely being logical, because you can't do that, right? We're humans. But what I am saying is that, you know, the only way you can really look at something logically and analytically is to try to remove yourself from the situation and be an outsider and see, okay, what is this position? What is that position? Can we synthesize these two positions to make a synthesis, or can we compromise somewhere? You know, is there a goal that we can achieve together or by myself? Looks like it's not housing soldiers, it's just giving free food to people. Yeah, that's exactly right. You know, now there is a argument to be made in the counter. So a counter argument to your position would be like, well, giving free food to these people, you know, they may not be soldiers, they may not be part of Y, but they're family members of X people. Ergo, you're aiding and abetting, you know, these people, right? So there's an argument to be made there, but that's a straw man. That is a argument that is just really rough. Really rough. Like, you know, that's not something you want to bring in court, you know what I mean? But it really illuminates an important point, though, right? You know, you have, like, these situations. Like, what if you were actually housing soldiers, right? Now, that's completely different from giving them free food, right? Like, if you have, like a lunchbox, right? With the PB&J, some chips, I don't know, maybe, you know, some fruit snacks, you know, like the divine, you know, 4th grade lunch, right? And you give it to someone, right? And they're in need, right? Maybe they have some viscera on them. Maybe they have some, you know, horrible clothes, you know, stuff like that. Would that not be an act of, you know, very good charity? And I'm not saying Christian charity. I mean charity in the sense of doing good for someone else without any intention of being repaid for it. Just seeing someone in need and helping them. So true charity, right? Is that morally bad? Is that bad? I don't know. Everyone has their position on that, but it's an important thing to frame around, because you're thinking, okay, well, what if we have these people with all these premises, right? But now we're in something called the intellectual box, or that's what I call it, where we have a situation where it's occurred, and now we've talked about it so much, we're now talking about thoughts, right? Holy grail. Man, I went to the store the other day, and I was looking at like prices for fruit snacks and stuff, and it is expensive. Now, don't get me wrong, I normally get like chicken and steak and rice and, like, you know, stuff that I can kind of make, you know, stretch out, but I was like, maybe I can treat myself, and they want like a box of fruit snacks for like, what? I remember I was appalled. I was like, they want like, I think it was like $20 for like a 30 pack, and it's like, what? Like, what's going on here? Jeez. But yeah, that's one of the things that's really interesting about everything going on, right? Is that I may have a position on something, like I may feel a certain way, but I think it's more important, especially I mean, I'm not exactly experienced in anything really. I'm just a guy, but I think it's important to, even whether I agree or disagree with you, to give you the springboard you need to either go deeper into your position and make it stronger, or give you a counter argument that may help you to either make your position stronger, or maybe even reconsider. Because one of the most humbling and one of the most like painful things you can go through is finding out you're wrong, right? Oh, it does? Uh-oh. What's weird is that, hold on, let me refresh my page here. There we go. I refreshed it. So, I think we should be okay. Well, oh, actually, you know, it may be the case that there's a stream delay now. Ah, that's okay. It's not too terrible. Because I have the latency on like literally 1 second so that I can talk to everyone in real time. But it takes longer to pop up after the incident. See, that's weird. See, that's the thing that I really hate about being a zero view streamer, is that I don't have the experience to know how to solve this, right? Like there's the thing of like, okay, like I lost connection, but what are all the things that I can't see, right? Like I'm not going to sit here and type to myself and go like, hey, how long does it take for this to show up? But like it may take a little bit for the stream itself, like so like for this to show up, but I'm looking at the chat room in real time. So I'm gonna upload it on another, or not upload, but put it on my other monitor. Okay, let me look at the stream here. Have you tried refreshing? Maybe it's something on your end. I'm hoping that maybe a quick refresh can do it. McDonald's. Yeah, I mean, hold on. I actually, where's that receipt? Because I remember I was coming home from work, and I went to McDonald's because I was getting pegged by life. Okay, I'll be honest. I was getting pegged by life. And I was sitting in the drive-thru, and I got my normal, which is a double cheeseburger and a small fry and a large sweet tea. Okay, I'm a simple guy. Okay, and I pull up to the thing, and I pay my thing. They give me the receipt back, and I'm like, what? There's stuff on the back. Why? And then I pull up to the front, I get my stuff, and I pull off into the side thing so that I'm not, causing a queue. And I'm looking on the back, and I'm like, what is this anime stuff? What the hell? McDonald's. And then I saw that it was copyright by McDonald's, and I'm like, what? What? How? And I'm like, if they copyright McDonald's, does that mean all the animes and stuff that have McDonald's in them, do they need to be redone? Like, is that a copyright issue now? Like, oh my god. Where is it? I wanted to keep it. Where'd it go? The manga receipt. Yeah, exactly. I was like, fuck, where'd it go? I actually had it on my desk because it was so funny to me, because I'm like, what's going on here? And I got rid of the bag, because the bag had, I don't know if you've been there recently for it, but like the bag even has the stuff on it. So it's not just the receipt that has that extra thing, which, like, wow, they're taking on extra cost for whatever reason this is, but like the bag has, like, it's beautiful, right? It's simply beautiful, right? It's like a little piece of Japan in America now. But I was just like, whoa, just like really confused about it, because I was like, imagine you get home from work, right? And you've just had a bad day, right? And you're just like, I want to go home. I want to sit in front of my computer, and I want to do nothing until I got to take a shower and go to sleep, right? That's what I was going to do. And I streamed that day, which I'm happy I did, but I got that receipt, man, and I looked at it, and I was like, what? Let me see here. Let's see what remedies I got here for delayed chat. Okay, I can't say that, but let's see here. How to fix the offset. Yeah, so a thing from 7 years ago is saying that, yeah, you can't fix it. And it's like, why? Yeah, so if it's really bad, what I can do is I can end the stream. But to be honest with you, I planned on this being like an hour and a half stream, and I'm getting there. So if it's really bad, let me know. I'll just go ahead and end the stream, and then, we'll go from there. Take it easy. It's taking a while to pop up. Damn. Yeah, because the Reddit the Reddit thread. God, I'm an idiot. Hold on. The Reddit thread. There we go. See, I have a brain. I used it there. The Reddit thread I was reading was saying something to the effect of that whenever you disconnect from OBS and you reconnect to Steam or Stream, sorry, or Twitch, you have this issue where, on my end, right? Like if I go to my Twitch page right now, which I'm doing right now, and I say like Gesundheit, there's only like a 2 or 3 second delay for me. But if I, obviously ask you, it seems like it's pretty bad. So I don't know why the hell it's doing that. I don't know why. But yeah, like I said, if it's really bad, I'll just go ahead and end the stream. And then probably what I'll do is, because it's Friday, I can take some time to maybe hash out stuff with Xfinity. Because it's really frustrating trying to have a good conversation with good company and then have it get screwed over by just, frivolous things, right? Like, nothing sucks more than having a good conversation destroyed by technology. You know what I mean? I hate it. But, yeah, it does suck that it... So, I do want to make it clear, though. Are you saying that it's taking a long time for it to pop up on stream, so, like, there's, like, a 15, 20-second delay between me and you talking? Or is it more so just, like... Actually, no, I think that's the only question I can ask. But, yeah, I'm sorry your bag didn't have it. Yeah, I don't know either. Yeah, so I just saw your message. I don't know either. So count from if you can remember when you sent that message, like how many seconds was that? If it's like 5 or 10 seconds, it's bad, but it's doable. It's okay. But if it's like 30 seconds, like that sucks. But here's the thing that is good, right? So I have a ending screen for my stream, and I try to, like you see up above, right? I try to do my best to like cite everything, because I think it's important as a, not really as a content creator, but like as a person, to like every single song, I make sure I have nice and little citations for stuff. Because I think like, okay, like, because you go into streams, right, and you're like, man, this song fucks. I like this song. This is a good song. I want to add it to my, Spotify or something, And then you're like, oh, like I have a browser add-on for, it's called Aha, that like, it works most of the time. But like, yeah, I'm account. Okay, so I'm account. I just saw it on my stream. But like, sometimes it'll work and it'll get me the song, but it's really frustrating to have to work hard for something you really don't need to. But yeah, so the good thing is that even if I, have to end stream pretty shortly, which, it happens. The good news is that I stream every day at 7 p.m. CST. Right. So I'm here every day. I may not be doing something, amazing, but I'll be here. I'll be doing something, and I'll try to do my best to be interesting. But I think you'll be in for a treat, because my end screen has music that is really just like, I tried to fit the mood with everything, just to kind of make it, I don't know. I'm not aiming for like high production, right? I'm just aiming for it to be decent. 35 seconds? What? Wow. Yeah, so I really need to figure this out. Wow. Yeah, if you think that's too... Oh, are we back? Are we back? I do not know. Let's see. Okay. So I know there's a 30-second delay, and it's probably gotten worse. So I'm just going to go ahead and end the stream out. I don't know how long I got before the next drown out, but yeah, I wanted you to stick around because I really like the song that I use for my end screen. And to be honest with you, there isn't a lot of opportunity that I get to like have people see it. So, and if you like the song, even better. But yeah, man, I appreciate the conversation. I always love talking about important stuff, and I always love getting perspectives from people. So I just want to say I appreciate you coming by, and whether you're sticking around or whether you're passing through, like I said, I always appreciate it. It's always fun talking to people, especially when especially when I have so much stuff to talk about, but I don't know how to talk about it, you know. But I get a lot of help from, especially viewers like you, to help me out with kind of getting my rails on. But until next time, I will catch you later, and hopefully, knock on wood. This is actually wood table. I don't know if you can hear it. A little driftwood with me sitting out here in the ocean. I'll catch you next time. So until then, have a good one. Take care.